Have you wanted to make one of those beautiful, gorgeous felt Christmas stockings you've seen? We can help you do that without worry and concern. Maybe you've wanted to make one of those beautiful felt stockings from the kits with the sequins and the beads, but you're a little nervous about getting started or possibly running into a challenge, or maybe you are just not sure you can finish it. Well, Servant Krause is here to help out. This is a stocking that a friend made and that we helped finish. Let me show you. Here's the lovely stocking that was made by a friend, and all I'm going to do is simply just the finishing. She has really done all of the hard work. So I will sew on the back and the tab to hang, and she's asked that the stocking be lined with this beautiful Christmas fabric. So that's a step that I don't usually do, but I think I love how this one turned out, and I think it's something I'm going to consider doing on all my future stockings. So let's get started. The first step is to cut out the backing fabric. This is felt and it does come in the kit. And you carefully cut just inside the line. That way your finished piece doesn't have any of this black line on it. I usually go around and if I see any little bit of it, I just kind of snip it off to make sure that it's not there. But this is just a careful cut, pretty simple, pretty smooth, and easy to do. Now that the back piece is cut out, I can use it to be my pattern piece for the lining material. I will fold the lining right sides together so it's prepared to be sewn, and I will lay the white backing piece down and pin it and use it as my pattern and cut around it. Since I will be using a serger, I can cut right to the edge of the piece, of the white felt piece, and my serger will take off about 1/4 of an inch on all sides, and so then it will be the perfect size to just slide down inside the stocking. You also need to make sure that you leave a little, about 1 inch to maybe 2 inches at the top of the stocking, so that that can be folded down and turned to the inside where it gets sewn to the stocking. Then you're ready to go. Now we're ready to cut out the front piece. Generally the first direction in a kit is to cut out the first piece, but this friend did not choose to do that. I think she's more comfortable working on it with a little bit larger piece, and that's fine. It just has to be carefully cut afterwards, after all that's applied. And as you can see, in my cutting, I had to move some of the little pieces around a bit so that I could get underneath and cut where needed to be cut. And in the process, I did knock off a couple of sequins and loosened up a couple of the bits. So I did make sure to go back before I finished everything up and tighten those down and make sure that they were going to be secure. Now it's just a matter of pinning all the way around the stocking. And don't have too many concerns if the front piece doesn't line up exactly with the back piece. Now, those two pieces are exactly the same when they're printed on the felt. However, when you start adding the applique pieces to the front and all the stuffing and the bits that you do there, it does cause that piece, that front piece, to kind of pull in a bit. So I always just match my edges and let the backing be a little bit fuller. So it may not lay perfectly flat, but it is something that you don't want to be exactly flat. So then I'm going to match the color of floss, 2 strands of floss, to the front of the stocking where it's going to show. And I'm going to use a seamstress stitch to stitch this together. So with the 2 strands of the matching floss and an embroidery needle, I will use a seamstress stitch to go all the way around the stocking. Now, some places I do not need to go through. When there's applique and stuffing on top, I will simply grab the underside of the front piece with the needle and go through there and not come all the way through to the front. Now, when I begin, I do want to go around the top edge. I go around about 2 or 3 times. That's a place where there's going to be stress because of placing things in and out of the stocking and it hanging. So you want to make sure that that is very, very secure. Then you're going to begin just going in and out and in and out. And the trick is with the in and out is that you are going to go in and out, and you're going to go in again on the next stitch right where you came out of the last stitch. So it looks very much like a sewing machine has done this stitch, especially if you're able to keep it small and tight and fairly even. I do gauge about 3/8 of an inch away from the edge of the stocking to do this stitch. So now I'm going to go back in where I started and come out below that. That may not make a lot of sense. You want to go, let me see, if you go back in, down, right where the stitch ended last time and come out beyond it. So that you will see turns into this really solid stitch that is very secure. So go down in where the last stitch ended and come up a little farther down the way. And I do pull these stitches nice and tight. This is the security that your stocking will be useful, be something that you can use. So you do want it to be So you can see here on the front, it really looks similar to machine stitching. Here's the back. The stitches look a little bit longer back there. The front and the back are fully attached together now. I have folded the tab, cut it first, folded the tab, and attached it with the same seamstress stitch to the back corner of the stocking on the white backing piece. And I use that stitch in a square. I do a full square around to make sure that it is firm and secure. I have a single strand of the blue embroidery floss to use to stitch the front. You can see that I have lined the stocking inside. You can feel all the way down into the stocking, so the entire stocking, even with the lining, is completely available for use as far as stuffing it with goodies. So for this front piece, I want to I'm going to do a blind stitch. Sorry, talk with pins in my mouth all the time. I do want the red to be below a little bit farther down. I don't want it to show on the front of the stocking. So since this is my first stitch here, I want to go all the way around and give it some good anchor there. And then from here on out, I am going to blind stitch, and that is going through the fold on the lining side and pick up just a tiny bit on the felt side. And again, in a small stitch in the fold and a small stitch on the felt side. This is why I am using blue and not red, is because I am coming through on the felt side just the tiniest bit. You can see where those tiny stitches are right there. Now I'm going to use a white thread for the back side so that won't show up as well. If you have any questions or you need to contact us for help or support in any way, please leave a comment in this video section. We'll respond back to you as soon as possible, or you can also leave us a message on our website, servantcrafts.com. Links to that website will be in the description below, and we'll see how we can help you. We're open to communicate and to help in any way we can. But this is the finished stocking. It ended up beautiful, and it's back with its owner.